Right behind me, as you can see, the media frenzy for Ben Carson, the frontrunner of the GOP right now. One of the more successful candidates coming in. He did stumble at times tonight. They haven't thrown for more than 225 yards in the first 2 weeks. Last year, if you had said that, it would have been crazy. This was one of the best passing teams in the nation last year. Sefo went 25 for 42 attempts the entire game. It's a big number. So why do you think that changed tonight as opposed to having, a run-based heavy offense like they've had the last couple weeks? Ben Carson's late surge, as well as Jeb Bush's recent budget cuts, might lead to some fireworks, and economics will be the focus of the debate here in Boulder. Well, we're only 3 weeks in here at CU, but it's clear to see that this is probably one of the best tailgates we're going to find on this campus. So Jim, Scott, everybody, can we get a big go Buffs here? How people might not be allowed into the debate at the Coors Event Center, which is directly in front of me by only about 40 or 50 yards. They are having their voices heard here on the Coble Business Field. This is one of my favorite plays that emphasizes how good Josh Scott is. Watch this. You got 1, 2, 3 players all coming to triple him. He could draw the foul leader, but instead he sees Wes Gordon on the backside, pass the ball to Wes, and that's a wide open dunk.
We take it live to Kyle Petty, our lead analyst in the Burton garage. So Kyle, not the day Harvick or Bush wanted, but with both drivers locked into the chase and how fast they looked at times, how would you describe what this past weekend's results look like for this team?
Later on in the game, it's a reverse to Phil Lindsay. No, it's actually a reverse to Nelson Spruce. But watch this. Linebacker Scooby Wright tries to come in and find Nelson Spruce. Spruce instead makes Scooby go ruh-roh. Touchdown, Cephalou foul. Buff still holding fast. Reporting live from the spin room at the University of Colorado at Boulder, I'm Andrew Haubner, CU Independent.
Despite being the 3A Player of the Year in Colorado, Ryan Moeller was only offered the chance to walk on to CU's football team, so he took it. And now he's one of the most integral parts of a resurgent Buffalo's defense.
Looking back, I didn't even know if I thought I'd see this happen or this day come, but it's here now, and so I just got to make it happen.
While he had offers from various FCS and Division II schools, Moeller always wanted to come to Boulder.
I never wanted to be unsure, or I never wanted to have that thought of, could I have made it? And so really what that driving factor was coming and trying my best out in the Pac-12 and one of the best conferences.
This Saturday, Ryan Moeller will be starting against the University of Oregon in front of over 40,000 people at Folsom Field. But his career started in more humble beginnings, here, Rifle, Colorado, roughly 3.5 hours from his new home in Boulder.
I've seen a lot of pretty special athletes, and you could tell that Ryan could have fit in any environment and been special on the football field.
Rifle head coach Damon Wells knows that's how it goes. Smaller school, less attention. But Wells' former superstar shows that through hard work, one can be an exception to that rule.
I fully believe that because of where we are, a lot of Division I coaches don't think that there are a ton of quality athletes that come out of this area. And I think that's part of the special thing that Ryan's accomplishing right now is he's showing the possibility for all kids everywhere.
I think a lot of it comes from a dream, really. You think about where you want to go in your future and how you're going to get there, and walking on here was definitely the first option and the first step to that dream.
From a town of 9,000 to the bright lights of Folsom, Ryan Moeller may have worked hard to get here, but he's just getting started. Andrew Haubner, CU Sports Mag. You can't talk about college football without talking about tailgates. So Sports Mag has embarked on a journey this fall to find the best tailgate on the campus of the University of Colorado at Boulder. This is Sports Mag Tailgate Spotlight.
So last week we were in Denver for the Rocky Mountain Showdown, but today we're back up in Boulder where the Buffaloes are going to play the Nicholls State Colonels. So today we're going to head over to the Jim Wannigan tailgate for a very unique trailer that came all the way from the SEC.
But I actually bought this from a guy out of Athens, Georgia, and I had it shipped up here.
Jim Wannigan is no stranger to tailgating. He drives up to Boulder every single weekend from Missouri for the home games. So to make everything easier, he piled it into a truck, which he got out of SEC country.
This is for this whole setup, it's only our second year.
Wow.
And I think we have the only tailgate trailer at sea right now.
While the trailer is only 2 years old, Jim has been tailgating at CU for over 30 years. And his best friend Scott, a season ticket holder for over half a century, has become one of the key members in what he calls a tailgate family.
Jim and I have been friends since we were 10, grew up in Boulder, and so we get family and friends to join us here, and it keeps getting to be a little bit larger group of family and friends, and you know, we're all diehard Buffs fans, and it just makes it so much fun to be able to share all this with true Buffs fans and good friends and family.
So when you guys look at the food, you mentioned that you have Santiago's early in the morning, but you're going and cook burgers and brats.
Well,
do you guys ever have any kind of unique foods that you bring out?
Well, last week, I should say, at Sports Authority, we actually cooked strip steaks. So we had steaks, but that's kind of a thing we started when CU plays CSU. We bring out the steaks. So that's kind of our top echelon gourmet food. But generally, if it's an early game, we do the burritos because they're easy, and then we'll switch to burger and brats in the afternoon. We've done barbecued chicken, we've done barbecued steak, pulled pork, pulled beef, that sort of thing. Beef brisket, anything that people like to eat.
While it may seem this way, this tailgate didn't start up overnight. It's been the result of long years and Colorado's eventual foray into the Pac-12 Conference.
And it used to be we would tailgate over in the Gold Lot, over by Franklin Field, and we had a van, you'd pull out one table and whatever people would bring. I mean, this is so much more organized, and it just, like Jim was saying, it sets it up so easily this way, the tear down's easy, and it just really is kind of the evolution of tailgating. So as I always have said, we have never lost a tailgate party.
Well, we're only 3 weeks in here at CU, but it's clear to see that this is probably one of the best tailgates we're going to find on this campus. So Jim, Scott, everybody, can we get a big Go Buffs here? That's all the time we have for Sports Mag Tailgate Spotlight. I'm Andrew Haubner. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you next week.
Jeb has a Coke problem. GOP has a Coke problem.
GOP Debate Day has finally come to Boulder, and things are already starting to heat up. As early as 9 o'clock in the morning, activists advocating for a variety of issues stepped onto the University of Colorado's campus to make their voices heard.
I really would have liked to have seen more students be allowed into the debate today.
Amy Runyon Harms is one of the leaders of Progress Now Colorado, the largest online progressive advocacy group in the state. While student tickets were capped at 150, Runyon Harms was pleased with the creation of a free speech area on campus so everyone had a chance to have their voices heard.
I have noticed there have been a lot of student groups who have risen up and are making their voices heard around this, which I think is fantastic. Progress Now Colorado is happy to help amplify that and help students in whatever way we can, but I've really seen students taking that ball and running with it, so I would love to see more students out here today.
But there are some that aren't entirely pleased with the attention given to ticketing. Antonio Huizar, CU student and major leader, believes that the viewpoints of the candidates are more important than students being allowed to watch the debate live in the Coors Event Center.
We are most focused on the actual issues. That is one of the things that we were very disappointed about the student body. Here in CU Boulder, Metro was disappointed at the student body that it was too much focused on the ticketing issue instead of focusing on the real issues that we need to take stand for.
The silver lining of all this is the fact that out here on the Coldwell Business Field, students, people within the area, and people outside of the area are allowed to make their voices heard only 20 feet away from the Coors Event Center where the debate is being held. Reporting from the Coldwell Business Field at the University of Colorado, Andrew Haubner, CU Independent. What a difference 1 year makes for this program. After their first sub-500 season under Tad Boyle, this year's Buffaloes are back better than ever with an offense that would rival one of Tad's best, a team that touted NBA players Alec Burks and Corey Higgins. This past Saturday, Colorado went to host the BYU Cougars, a perennial tournament team, and let's just say the ball got shot a lot. We go in 30 seconds into the first half, and it's His Highness George King, one of the big offensive bright spots of this team, going for that 3-bucket, and now you have Josh Scott, Mr. Inside Out, mid-size fundamental, whatever you want to call him, off the fast break dunk from Akiazili. He is in a conversation for All-American this year. Seriously. The Buffaloes continued to shoot great, 52.6% from the first half, including that Talton three-pointer and that Josh Scott steal and dunk. But BYU would not go away. This team is good, 47 points in the second half. But then you remember Colorado has Josh Scott. A spin and dunk there, and then a King three-point flush to end things in Boulder. The Buffaloes walk away, winning 92-83 on the back of George King with 23 points on 6 of 9 shooting, and Josh Scott with 22 points, 10 rebounds, his 6th double-double of the season.
Now, talking about coach turnover, you can't forget the football team here at the university. Last week, strength and conditioning coach Dave Foreman was let go by head coach Mike McIntyre and has got many fans, pundits, and people sitting at a desk with too much time on their hands wondering if offensive coordinator Brian Lindgren will be next. Now, Lindgren's offenses did struggle in 2015, and some questionable play calling led to a lot of fans calling for his dismissal once the season was over. But the CUI has just learned that Lindgren was present for the visit of three-star quarterback Sam Neuer. While normally this would be a negligible effect, sources tell the CU Independent this week that when there were multiple offensive linemen visiting the school, Lindgren was not present for the visit itself nor for the recruiting dinner, which might indicate that he will not be with this team going forward in 2015 and 2016. Coach evaluations are still going on, so there will be some time before we find out if Lindgren will be joining Colorado, Mike McIntyre, and Jim Leavitt going into next season. So what's going on around Colorado this break? Well, if you're a men's basketball fan, you get 2 games in Boulder before the Buffaloes head down to Sin City for the Vegas Classic. Now, the first 2 games here in the Coors Event Center will be against Nichols and Hampton Universities, respectively, but Colorado will also go on to face Penn State a little further down the road, and if they're lucky, Southern Methodist in the final. Now, what's so important about SMU? Well, if you look at RPI, they are one of the best teams outside of number 4 Iowa State that Colorado is going to be playing in this non-conference schedule. SMU is currently ranked 18th in the AP poll, having not lost a game this year. Seems like a daunting task, but one has to remember both of these teams played in a closed-door scrimmage at the beginning of the year. Sources told the CU Independent that Josh Scott was, quote, dominant and getting everything inside the paint. If that's any indication of what might happen down the road at the Vegas Classic, Colorado should be pretty bullish going into this December.